So listen, a friend of mine heard this, so it must be true. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down the top 10 comic book urban legends. For this list, we're looking at stories involving comic book characters, creators, publishers, or others in the industry which have been accepted as fact, but which are actually more complicated or just flat out untrue. Number 10. LastMinute Changes kept DC and Marvel from swapping characters. In 1996, one of the most fervent dreams of comic fandom was fulfilled when a 5-issue DC vs. Marvel series pitted characters like Superman against the Hulk and Batman against Captain America. For a while, a new amalgam universe was created which combined various heroes into new forms. In the end, all the DC heroes and Marvel heroes went back to their separate universes. A popular urban legend would have you believe that Daredevil and Catwoman were meant to be left on the wrong Earths, but that was changed at the last minute. The truth is, there was no last-minute change. The unsurmountable rights problems put a quick end to that idea early on. Number 9. The Walking Dead was originally going to include aliens. For quite some time, fans of the Walking Dead comics were wondering how creator Robert Kirkman was going to pull off adding aliens into the mix. Post-apocalyptic zombies are a genre unto themselves. Throwing in space aliens? Wouldn't that be mixing realities just to keep the series fresh? But legend had it that Kirkman had indeed promised such a thing. In reality, it was all a joke made in a letter column of an early issue. Kirkman was using humor to guarantee readers he would keep the series fresh, and some must have taken the joke literally. For fun, though, he included aliens in a dream sequence as a nod to the joke and the online speculation. Number 8. James Cameron stole the idea for Terminator from X-Men comics. In 1984's The Terminator, a cyborg is sent back in time to prevent the birth of a man who would save a future world from a reign of machines. In 1981's Days of Future Past, X-Men story, Kitty Pryde goes back in time to prevent the killing of a man which initiates a future reign of machines. Clearly, James Cameron ripped off the idea from X-Men and just made a few changes, only he didn't. Cameron, in fact, said he was influenced by 2 old Outer Limits episodes on a similar theme, which led to his being sued by the writer of those episodes, Harlan Ellison, who, coincidentally, actually penned a few X-Men stories in his career. Number 7. Orson Welles tried to make a Batman movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, by way of introduction, this is a film about trickery and fraud, about lies.
Orson Welles, the 1940s boy wonder of the cinema, is rumored to have been working on a Batman film way back in 1946, just 7 years after the Caped Crusaders' debut in 1939's Detective Comics number 27. The idea of Welles, who rocked the world with his movie debut Citizen Kane, tackling Batman truly makes a fanboy salivate. Unfortunately, this is a total hoax, created by Mark Millar for a column in CBR back in 2003 as a kind of homage to Welles' well-known hoax radio broadcast of The War of the Worlds.
Well, we said that the Martians were releasing a noxious gas across the Jersey meadows that was drifting towards New York, so people took to the hills.
Number 6. Superman spilled real nuclear secrets and got in trouble. Superhero comics like to be up to date when it comes to scientific discoveries, although often the way sciences and scientific terms were used revealed that the writers didn't always know what they were talking about. One story claims that the publishers of Superman got into trouble because one of his stories spilled nuclear secrets that could have been used by our enemies. That's not quite the case. The story in question involved a cyclotron, an early model particle accelerator or atom smasher. People in the War Department saw this, but they didn't panic. They were actually more concerned that people wouldn't take the technology seriously if they found out it was in a comic book. Number 5. The Human Torch was axed from TV because a child burned himself.
Now together with Kirby the Robot, the newest member of the group, they have become the greatest team of superheroes the world has ever known. The new Fantastic Four.
Have you heard the one about that kid who was such a huge fan of the Fantastic Four? He took lighter fluid and poured it on himself and then lit a match? This tragic story was passed around for years, but as far as can be determined, it's simply not true. And there also is no truth to the rumor that this is why the Human Torch didn't appear in the 1978 Fantastic Four series, where he was replaced by a robot. In fact, the reason is far less dramatic. The Human Torch had been optioned for a potential solo series which never came to pass, so he legally couldn't be used in the cartoon series. Number 4. Frank Miller created the term Dark Knight. Frank Miller's landmark The Dark Knight Returns is one of the most lauded comic book series of all time. It reinvigorated Batman and established a dark, grim tone which has been influential throughout the comics worlds. But contrary to urban legend, the phrase Dark Knight did not originate with Miller, though the series did impact its popularity. No, the first usage of Dark Knight to refer to Batman actually goes all the way back to Detective Comics number 40, published in 1940. caption clearly identifies Batman with the nickname more than a quarter century before Miller's use. Number 3. Wonder Woman's creator invented the polygraph.
Dr. Marston, you are an esteemed psychologist with considerable accomplishments, most notably the invention of the lie detector test. Creator and sole author of the Wonder Woman comic books.
One of the more enduring urban legends contains a kernel of truth. Before making his mark in comics with Wonder Woman, William Moulton Marston was a teacher and psychologist, as well as an inventor. One of his inventions is the systolic blood pressure test. Marston's wife observed her blood pressure tended to rise when she was mad or excited. They theorized that this could be useful in determining when a person was lying, and the blood pressure test became one of the components which was used in the first polygraph or lie detector. John Augustus Larson actually created the polygraph, but he did use Marston's test as a part of it.
Why don't you just call her Wonder Woman? I like it.
Number 2. Batman definitely killed the Joker. At the end of The Killing Joke, the captured Joker relates a joke which causes both him and Batman to engage in hysterical laughter. The succeeding panels show less and less of the characters, with both having disappeared from the frame when the laughter finally stops. Some readers, including comics legend Grant Morrison, claim the laughter stopped so abruptly because Batman has snapped the Joker's neck. This has recently been reinterpreted as the absolute, obvious conclusion to the story, and that people had actually been misinterpreting the ending for years. However, looking at Moore's script reveals it was always meant to be ambiguous and open to interpretation. The ending is not as cut and dry as some fans would have you believe. Not quite at the end yet. Almost there though. Just be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Alright, back to business. Number 1. Jack Kirby sued Marvel Comics.
I see that story first. I feel that story first. I know those people first. When I put them down, they've already lived. And I put them down as I'd like them to live on those pages.
Jack Kirby was one of the giants of the comic book world, having had a hand in creating Captain America, the Fantastic Four, the Hulk, the X-Men, and Thor, among many, many others. Unfortunately, while Kirby was considered a legend among fans, he didn't receive the level of monetary compensation his creatorship deserved. For years, people have talked about how Jack Kirby sued Marvel to be properly rewarded for the massive amounts of money his creations have brought in over the years. However, although Kirby considered suing on numerous occasions, he never did. It seems the king felt he'd never be able to afford the long, drawn-out legal battle that would inevitably result. After his death, however, his family felt differently.
That's the interesting part of the entire field, is to say, what is it? Where is it going? How it'll evolve. And we experiment with that every day.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.